Ukweli, she would do a perfect job.
Kisima drops will have to go on,
Even without our dear Melissa.
So, please join me in welcoming our latest addition to the company, my daughter Zawadi.
Listen up.
Hello everyone and welcome to Engine.
How do we hear? How do we see? What makes up the air we breathe?
Let's go.
It's technology.
Let's go. Let's grow.
Science, you and me.
Let's go.
We're learning every day.
Let's go. Let's grow.
Let's ask, let's learn, and let's love.
And don't forget to make it fun.
You want to come with me? Come on, get your horse. Let's go for a ride.
Is that an order?
No, Ruben, it's not an order. It's just...
But I'm sorry, but I have a lot of work to do over at the stable.
Excuse me, but you seem a little bit, well, strange. Is it because I was late?
It's not because you were late. It's okay.
Okay, then. I'll be right there. Now I will know who your lover is, Melina.
Hey! What do you want? Did you lose something? What is going on here?
I want to believe that what I'm thinking is a stupid idea, Sergio.
What's going on, Fabian?
What's going on? I'm going in, so move.
A very good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 23rd day of January 2023. Conversations around sport. The first one is going to be about the Sports Act. We shall be speaking with lawyer Kambi Obonya. And we shall also be talking about Taekwondo. The national team was selected for the World Championships in Baku, Azerbaijan, and also for the African Games that will take place in Ghana in August. So we have got Nesmas Wesonga, who's the team manager of Team Kenya. And we shall also be joined by Taekwondoin Evelyn Aluoch and Taekwondoin Elijah Kimani, who are welterweight and middleweight athletes respectively. And then the first week of February, it's going to be quite a very sporty weekend. We're going to have the Ladies European Tour, the opening leg of the 2023 season, the opening round. It is the magical Kenya Ladies Open. It's going to be taking place at Vipingo Ridge at the PGA Baobab course. And so we've got the Vice Chair of the Kenya Golf Union, Philip Ogola, and we shall also be speaking with Alastair Kavanagh. He is the chairman of Vipingo Ridge. Most of you may know Alistair Kavanagh from his rallying days, but right now he's in real estate. Well, Vipingo Ridge, that's where he is. So those are the 3 events that we're going to be having. Now, next, from our newsroom, food security. This is at Magereza House. That is where that conversation is going to be. Then you've got the PEPFAR 20th anniversary. This is going to be happening at Tate House. That is the residence of the United States Ambassador. The IEBC tribunal is going on at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. Kamcha Medza is there. We've got the back to school story. I know there's been a lot of activities yesterday in the supermarkets, stores that sell clothes, plus barbershops and salons. Quite interesting, I've got to say. So that's happening. And Michael Mondiga is in Mombasa. The MP's induction is going on. Then we've got Kelvin Washira, who is at Pauline Nyokabi Kuria's funeral service. So the burial is taking place in Gatundu. This is the sister to Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria. So those are the stories that we have got lined up for you, and we shall be having a look at. Well, before we get into our first conversation, why don't we bring in this feature about Paralympian Ana Wafulla.
She has not let her disability define her to become outstanding in all spheres of life. Ana Wafulla Strike has defined herself to become an accomplished wheelchair athlete, an author, motivational speaker, and a sporting ambassador.
I am a Paralympian, but also I'm an advocate and a champion for disability rights and inclusions. And I'm also the founder of the Olympia Wafulla Foundation, which is it's actually a charitable organization or a charitable foundation.
She contracted polio at a tender age and never thought that one day she would take her to the track. That did not stop her from realizing her potential to become the first Kenyan wheelchair racer in the 2004 Paralympic Games, where she reached the finals of the T53 category, which was won by Britain's Tani Gray Thompson to receive the UK Kenya Sports Personality Award.
Do you know, when I moved to the UK, I had my child and I put on a bit of weight, and then I was introduced to wheelchair racing. I didn't know anything about disability sport when I was living in Kenya. You know, when I was in Kenya, I concentrated on going to school, getting an education, getting a degree, and becoming a teacher. That is, you know, that was my life. So when I went to the UK, then I started to do sports, and I went to the Paralympics in 2004, which was the first one. 2004 was really exciting because I was running for Kenya, and we actually made history. You know, we became the first people from Africa to be at a Paralympic event as a wheelchair racer, which was exciting. It was great, yeah.
Ana Wafulla, who lives abroad with her husband Norman Strike, later joined the British team to win, among others, a bronze in the Paralympics World Cup. She was a member of the torch relay during the 2012 London Olympics after writing an autobiography, In My Dreams, I Dance.
I am not very active as a Paralympian because I've taken on other roles. I'm supporting with the UK Athletics in Great Britain, but I also sit on the British Paralympic Association, and I still do a lot of advocacy work with with other different organizations. Like I was here speaking at the UNFPA, about disability and the power of sport, because that is also something that we've also, sort of working together with, the rugby people. So the sport is quite powerful and it's very strong.
The Moi University alumni, who holds a Bachelor of Education degree and an honorary doctorate in health science from the University of York St. John's, also started the Olympia Wafulla Foundation, a charitable organization for persons living with their disabilities and other disadvantaged persons as well, where they're given opportunities or solutions to better their lives and help them realize their dreams. The foundation also provides wheelchairs across the world and scholarships.
The Olympia Wafulla Foundation was started in the 2012 after the Paralympics, the London Paralympics. I'd been doing a lot of charity work, and I sort of thought, instead of just collecting money and raising funds, let me have it in a more organized way. And that is when we founded the Olympia Wafulla Foundation, and we opened the charter here in Kenya. And we we've done a lot of mobility work. We've taken wheelchairs to Thika School for the physically handicapped. In Nyeri, we've given about 30 wheelchairs to kids with cerebral palsy. In Western Province, we've done that, and today we are here. And we never give enough. There's never enough in the world, and I just urge everyone to come out and just give what you can give. Just share your love, share your blessings. We are interested in healthy and well-being of people with disabilities and their families. So we work on 3 pillars, which is education. We give education scholarships, mobility, but we also do a lot of advocacy work, just to really educate and sensitize communities and governments also about disability issues.
Her charitable works, which has seen her take part in many charitable activities like this one, Home and Away, saw her being appointed member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, just to name but one of her many accolades and honors, which include the fashion industry as well.
I really love to do charity work because I know that it empowers and it gives not just people with disabilities, their families, and it enriches the communities. I traveled the world doing this kind of stuff, just giving hope. And also as a disabled person, somebody did that for me because I was in Joyland School for the physically handicapped in Kisumu. We used to have so many missionaries and charity workers who empowered us. And I just feel like I'm carrying on that baton, from where they'd left, because there's so much that we can do in the world. And let me tell you, you don't need to be a millionaire to do that. Just 10 shillings, just something, it makes a difference.
The mother of Timothy is also an excellent and motivational speaker who inspires our audience from our own experiences to tap into their own power and rise from their challenges.
Can I tell you what? I think my best experience is when I became a mother. Holding my child, I was just like, yes, I am so satisfied, I am fulfilled in life. That was just the greatest joy. That was the greatest joy. And I think my worst moments, it really is when I lose, a member of the family. And I remember I lost my brother, and it took me a long time before I recovered from that.
Ana Wafulla's strike is indeed a true epitome of courage, determination, and success, an inspiration to many.
I think to me, what I would say to people living with disabilities is really never give up. It is very hard to live with a disability, but I'll probably say to them is accept who you are. Just accept that you are the way you are, but don't let disability define who you are. Always try to fight, always try to get the best. And sometimes your best could just be walking from your house to the door. But it's always have a mission, have an aim, have an objective in life. And, and I also want to urge people who live with, those with disabilities, do not just look at these disabled people like they want pity and sympathy. No, we want opportunities.
That's the story of Kenyan British para-athlete Ana Wafulla's strike. Well, inspiration. Disability is not inability. Well, continuing with Sports Check on this Monday morning. And moving on next, we've got the IEBC tribunal that is sitting at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development headquarters, and Commissioner Professor Abdi Gulier former commissioner is giving his testimony right now. Let us move over to the KICD and listen in.
All the way to paragraph 11, you talked at the procedure of the National Tallying Center. And from what we've seen, it appears as if, was there any challenge as we are working at the National Tallying Center before the point of declaration of results?
Not that I'm aware of.
How was the function of explain how you're functioning as a commission before the point of declaration of results?
The election being a special event or activity, we had the chair allocated at certain tasks in trying to achieve the outcome, which was the election itself. And in so doing, we were assigned different objectives, which were all geared towards contributing to the smooth running of the election at the National Tallying Center. And so the committees had staff working under them, and if there were any issues, the committees were feeding into the commission.
So each committee had a staff, that's what you're saying?
Yes, there is one or two commissioners giving the leadership, and then we had staff below them that were working with the commissioners. Yeah.
Right. Now, were you functioning, or how was the function of the commission before the point of declaration of results? I'm going to paragraph 11. There weren't any issues, I think, except for the challenges that was happening on the floor in terms of the verification process, which we were all retreating into our holding room and trying to deal with the challenges as they were emerging on the floor. But there has been seamless operation up until the end. Right. Now, let us go to the next page, 19.
Mm-hmm.
Paragraph 15, 14, and 15, you say, I was shocked to learn that some people, I'm reading paragraph 15, line 2, I was shocked to learn that some people were willing to sabotage the will of the people and had the audacity to request the commission to come to their aid to achieve such reprehensible desires. And then you go to paragraph 16, 17, 18, and 19.
Yeah.
Kindly explain what transpired in this, and where was this, and what really transpired.
We had a number of challenges, as has been expounded in the chair's affidavit, in terms of our staff being harassed in the course of doing their work. And so that is part of what I was actually referring to in that particular paragraph. But coming back to the sections or the chapters that you have highlighted, we had visitations, and in those visitations, at first we were asked to go slow on the process. We had 7 days. We should not fast track and complete the process, which was not very clear to us why that was being made. And thereafter we had visitations from other senior elders or citizens of the country, to the effect that in the 17th chapter, the 17th paragraph, where we were being asked to put the interest of the country.
Are the visitors the one mentioned in paragraph 17?
Yes.
All right, then go on.
Yes, and we were asked to look at the bigger picture. The Commission does not operate in a vacuum, and we were being asked to ensure that the country is holding together, and so the impression, or rather the request that were being made, was to make decisions in a certain manner for purposes of trying to ensure the country is.
So in paragraph 18 you talk of moderation, then you flow to 19. Explain that.
Yeah, we had a late night meeting, I think early morning I should say, the visitation that happened as espoused in 17 and 18. Having heard the sentiments of the visitors, the senior citizens, then commissioners had a chance to react to the request that was made, of which some of the commissioners were actually of the opinion that they agreed with the senior citizens' sentiments.
Professor, let's go slowly.
Yeah.
You have 17 and 18 talking about visitors and the request for moderation.
Yeah.
Where exactly was this happening?
This was in the Tally Center room, a hall or auditorium, but we had a commissioner's holding room.
Okay. Was this in the holding room?
Yes, this meeting was happening in the holding room.
All right. Within the commission, who was present?
All of us were present.
All of us
when
means
the chair,
all the commissioners.
When the request was made to visit, to talk to the chair, this request was specific to the chair initially. But the chair said he was not going to have discussion with the visitors unless the other commissioners are present. So we were present.
All the commissioners are present,
yeah,
including Commissioner Irene Masit.
All of us were present, yeah.
We flow to paragraph 19. When the chairman made this invitation, were the visitors present or not?
They were there.
The visitors were present.
Yes.
And these are the ones mentioned in paragraph 17.
Yes.
Now, we have Commissioner Juliana Cherera, Justice Nangaya, Irene and Mr. Masit, and Commissioner Francis Wanderi. You say they agreed, and I need to be very specific only to Commissioner Irene Masit. When you say that she agreed to the remarks, please kindly explain what you mean.
The remarks are the remarks that were explained in 17 and 18 of moderating the results for purposes of ensuring that the country is held together.
So what position was taken in that boardroom by Commissioner Irene Masit?
The position was that she was in agreement with the elders' sentiments.
That
the results should be moderated to the extent that we announced a particular candidate, as explained in 18.
And the candidate they wanted to be announced, was it the winning candidate?
At that point, I personally did not know who is the winning candidate.
Oh, you did not know at that point.
So I didn't know who was the winner at the time.
Right. Now, after that, what was your position yourself?
Personally, the contribution I made when the chair gave us an opportunity to react is that is what I have mentioned there, and I said we need to abide by the Constitution.
All right, you need to abide by the Constitution?
Yes.
What does that mean?
I said I did not know the outcome of the election at that point, and any such discussion was not welcome for as far as I was concerned. And my view was that we didn't need to discuss about winning and losing because we didn't know who is winning and who is losing.
Right. Now, for Commissioner Irene Masit to make comments to agree to moderation in the presence of the people you're calling elders, was that legal? Or does the Constitution allow that?
In my opinion, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Because we saw an oath of office to uphold the Constitution, and the Constitution defines how a winner in a presidential contest is to be declared.
Right. Now, we flow from there to paragraph 23 to 28. Appears you had other visitors, and before we go there, at what point then did these first visitors leave, and at around what time?
They were around, the discussions were happening around 3 a.m., 3:30, thereabouts.
And this is 3 a.m. of which day?
Of 15th morning.
On the 15th August 2022.
2022, yes.
Right. And then at what point do they leave for the next batch that starts at paragraph 23 of your affidavit?
Immediately we had the discussions, and having seen our sentiments, they left immediately.
The visitors?
The visitors, yes.
Right.
And so then it's now the next morning. Actually, the morning began at midnight, so after midnight. So after around 8 or 9 in the morning is when the chairman gets a call asking him that there are visitors that are going to. you should expect some visitors.
Yes.
And so, true to that, I was informed by the security in charge of the Bomas, that there was a team that had arrived. I think they are about 10 a.m. in the morning. And the intention was to meet the chairman.
And did they come?
They came, yes.
And look at paragraph 23. Are those is that the team, the names there, are those the people who arrived in the next group of visitors?
Yes, the ones who came at 10, and they were seated at the office of the in charge of security.
Yes.
Which was within the Bomas area, actually not far from the Tally Center.
Yes.
And so he left them in his office, and he's the one who walked to the Tally Center where we were, at our holding room, to inform us that the visitors have arrived.
Then what happened after that?
So the chair, they wanted to see the chair, and so the chair had said that we were going to see them, but we were finalizing some verification process, and we were going to see them at 2 o'clock.
Now, in this verifying process that you are finalizing, was there a dispute as at that time as you're doing the verification?
Not that I'm aware of.
So, amongst the commissioners, everything was...
Amongst the commissioners, we did not have any dispute at that time.
As at that time?
Yeah.
Then what happened after that?
And so once we were almost done, the chair had called for a meeting at 2 p.m. And this was a meeting for commissioners. And by that time, our anticipation was that the final results would be printed out. And so he called for a meeting, and we went for the meeting, but the first item on the meeting was to receive the visitors that had come.
So, where was this meeting?
The meeting was at the boardroom of the CEO of Bomas.
So that was within Bomas of Kenya?
It's within the Bomas, yes, but in a different building.
Right.
From the Tally Center.
And who was then in that meeting?
All of us. All the commissioners were there.
Did that include Commissioner Irene Masit?
All of them, yes, including her.
Including her. Right, then we flow from paragraph 23 and 24 and 25 and 26. Kindly explain what transpired and what was this meeting all about.
I recall the initial, after we went into the boardroom, and the visitors also joined us in the boardroom. And the starting point was introductions. The visitors introduced themselves.
And these are the names on paragraph 23?
Yes.
Right, go on.
And they were led by Mr. Kiara.
Yes.
So that was the team. I introduced them one by one. There were 4 in total. And he's the only one who spoke. And after introducing them, then he explained to us the reasons for the visitation, and he said they were visiting on behalf of the main committee of NSAC, and he stressed that the committee was, purposely chosen, the composition of it, and to represent various offices. And so after that, then he went on to tell us the reasons for the visitation, and that they are, if we declare that the results to go in one way, as he explained, which was in favor of William Ruto, that the country was going to ban.
That's what you're explaining in paragraph 25?
Paragraph 25.
Yes.
And we were...
That is former IEBC Commissioner Professor Gulier, who is making his submissions to the tribunal that was set up to investigate the conduct of 4 commissioners of the Independent Election Boundaries Commission, and that is Vice Chair Juliana Cherera, Commissioners Justice Nyang'anya, Francis Wanderi, and Irene Masit. Kamche Medza is our reporter at that event, and she is going to be giving us a report on that. And remember, it is back to school week, the first of 3 Mondays where we've got the back to school. So Form 2, Form 3, Form 4 students and all primary school students going back to school this week, and next week it's going to be junior secondary schools, that is grade 7, and 2 weeks from now, Form 1 students reporting to the various secondary schools. Wycliffe Okech is in Kisumu, and he gives us this report on the back to school activities out west in the country.
Thank you so much, Daniel Wahome, back in Nairobi. It is back to school, like you've rightly put it, and of course, after a long holiday, now the learners are now resuming learning activities in their respective schools, and also think about the new curriculum, that is the CBC curriculum, that is actually presenting some of the grey areas that will need combing, even as the admission is set to kickstart on the 30th of January 2023. And of course, I will be able to speak with the County Director of Education here in Kisumu to give us a snippet of the level of assessment that has already been done in Kisumu to ascertain the number of schools that have been inspected and assessed for the rollout of the same curriculum. But for now, I am at Zaverian Primary and Junior Secondary School just to speak with the head teacher of this school to help us understand what are some of the preparations for the rollout of that curriculum. Remember, the state was had scheduled the recruitment of at least 30,000 teachers to facilitate the rollout of that curriculum, and those are some of the issues I've been looking into as we continue with that discussion, or rather with that topic here. And at this point, Wahome, you will allow me to bring on set the head teacher. This is Zaverian Primary and Junior Secondary. Mwalimu, if you can just look into the camera and talk to us about the new curriculum. Tell us, how prepared is Zaverian Primary and Junior Secondary School for the rollout of the new curriculum?
Thank you. My name is George Polo. George Polo is the head teacher of Zaverian Primary School, Kisumu Central Sub-County. We have 268 of our learners who are meant to be transiting to the Junior Secondary School section. We already have, they have already been assessed, of course, in November last year, and all of them will transit at 100% transition rate. As a school, I would say we are prepared. Already we have made the classrooms. Classrooms are ready for them. Today, you are receiving learners from grade 1 to grade 6, and of course, class 8, who came today, this morning. And now we are just making sure that we are ready in terms of furniture, in terms of the orderliness of the classrooms. I think we have put them in place, and we are ready to receive them when they resume on 30th.
All right. There's always been the issue of learner-teacher ratio, and the state had planned to recruit at least 30,000 teachers to accommodate, rather to facilitate the rollout of the new curriculum. Have you been able to receive any new teacher posted to this school?
Oh, we have not received so far, but our discussion with the county director, TAC, indicates that we are going to receive teachers, and I'm sure we are prepared. Even in my own staff currently, I have teachers that are very qualified to even handle the junior class section. So I'm sure we are ready already. We are ready and very ready to receive those learners.
Thank you that you've touched on the qualification of the current crops of teachers to handle that juniors, the new rollout of new curriculum. Tell us, is there any plans to build their capacity even more so that to effectively handle the new curriculum?
True. I want to say that most of the teachers we have gone through CBC training, and you realize that grade 7 and grade 8, the content has not changed so much greatly from what it used to be in the old system. And I want to believe that my teachers are able to, because they have all gone through CBC training, they are able to effectively handle those classes. However, the ministry and the TAC have put things in place to ensure that teachers are trained. And training begins, I think, next week. I also want to believe that in that crop of new teachers that will be trained, our school will be able to get at least a few of them. I have 3 streams, and I believe and I'm praying that I'll get 3 teachers trained to add with the number that I have to handle the CBC class. That's the junior secondary school.
Your school produced one of the top candidates in the 2022 KCPE exams. She appeared in the top 10, and that means many people will be looking to bring their learners here. What are some of the structural changes you've been able to effect, even as you wait for the state to build more classrooms and laboratories? What are some of the structural changes you've been able to effect so that the new curriculum can kick off smoothly?
Thank you. It is true that with the good results that we posted in the KCP last year, where we had one of the top candidates had 423, and we had over 14 of them getting 400 marks, there have been a surge, very serious surge of parents wanting to bring children in this school. But the resources are not, do not allow us to admit to a certain extent. However, today as we talk, the school is really crowded. We have a large number of students in each class. But I'm happy that we're equal to the task. We are equal to the task because the teachers are ready and they have come back ready to work and give their best. I want to believe that we are not going to let anybody down. We are going to do our best to ensure that we provide and help the government in its urge to get 100 transition. We are going to do that.
And precisely, if you can be specific, how many learners do you have right now, with excluding the new admissions and the number of teachers?
Currently, I have 32 primary school teachers. I have 15 in the ECD. I have 5 of them that are employed by the board. Total population of the pupils today stands at 2,200. That is excluding the Kenya Junior Secondary School learners. That is, there are 268 that I expect to come. So today we are talking about population of about 2,300 learners. Yes, and I'm not complaining. Our population now, the number of teachers is enough to handle this number. I'm very, very grateful to the TSC that have always ensured that they post for us effective teachers that give my work very easy as the head teacher of this school.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Wahome, that is Mr. George Polo, the head teacher of Zaverian Primary and Junior Secondary School here in Kisumu, talking to us about their level of preparedness, even as we wait for the rollout or the new admissions of the junior secondary learners. And also you've heard him mention that this is quite a popular school and big in size actually. You've heard me mention that he has about 2,000 pupils at this school here, and more than 30 teachers, and is confident that with the rollout of the new curriculum, the school will be able to facilitate that smoothly, even as they wait for the state to recruit more teachers and post them here, and also construct more structures in terms of laboratories and more classrooms to accommodate and seamlessly facilitate the transition to the new curriculum. Well, like I've mentioned, we'll be able to speak with the County Director of Education later on to get to understand how many schools have been assessed and how many schools are able to accommodate and facilitate the rollout of that curriculum. But for now, I will hand it back to you so that you can continue with that important discussion in studio. Wahome, back to you.
Thank you very much, Wycliffe Okech in Kisumu, speaking with George Polo, who is the head teacher at Zaverian Primary and Junior Secondary School, as the schools get ready to accept learners. Remember, it's an interesting year. There is not going to be a standard 7 again. There's going to be grade 7 going forward, and grade 7 learners will be reporting to school next week. But today it's grades 1 to 6 and standard 8 who are reporting back to primary schools, and form students who are in Form 2, Form 3 and Form 4. Those in Form 1 report a fortnight from now. So our teams in Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisumu will be keeping up with the back to school work. Well, right now, let's move on to a conversation. And when you see anything like this, you just know that you've got a combat sport. This is not an oversized table tennis bat, but this is training gear for Taekwondo. And in studio, and starting with the far left, I've got Nesmas Wesonga, team manager Taekwondo Kenya. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wahome.
And next to the team manager is Evelyn Alwoch. She's a welterweight Taekwondoin. Even though mnajiita. That's the correct term. Taekwondoin.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And also middleweight, from the middleweight division in the men's side, we've got Elijah Kimani. Thank you. All right. Over the weekend, Taekwondo Kenya, they held trials for 2 events. The World Championships, which will be in Baku, Azerbaijan, and also for the African Games that will be hosted in Ghana in August. So TM, first of all, 106 men, over 40 something, basically over, say, about 160 athletes in total. Tell us about the trials and the competition that we had over the weekend at KU.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Aome, for inviting us here for this interview. I really appreciate for the opportunity. Over the weekend, we had our trials for the Kenya Taekwondo national team, and it was very competitive. For the first time, our trials had about 150 participants. It has never happened before. It was quite highly competitive. We had teams coming from all over the country. Mombasa County was represented, Kilifi was represented, Kisumu County was represented, Meru, Nakuru, KDF, Kenya Prisons. And one of the things that came out very clearly in the trials was that we have an abundance of talent, and we have a lot of young people out there who are very enthusiastic to represent our country, and we believe that giving them this platform to prove themselves was a great opportunity for the young people to be able to qualify for the national team, which we were able to select 16 men and 16 women. First, in every weight category, we normally have 8 weight categories, 8 for men, 8 for women. So first in each weight category automatically qualifies to be in the team. And then the number 2s joining in as sparring partners. And of course, in any eventuality of sickness, indiscipline or anything, then number 1 can easily be replaced with somebody who's already in the camp. Yeah.
All right, and taking a look at this, we know that Sharon, one of the practitioners of Taekwondo, is out in Germany. Then in her case, because she has an Olympic scholarship and it's all about Olympic qualification, how, in her case, then how do you manage that? Because her weight division definitely was filled at these trials.
Yes, beautiful. First and foremost it has been, I would like to mention that Sharon Wakoli became the first Kenyan Taekwondoin to be selected for the Olympic scholarship. It is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity where you are given a living stipend, training, traveling expenses, and education, all in one package by the Olympic movement, the Solidarity movement. So Sharon went to Germany last year, and she's preparing for the Olympic qualifiers, which will determine if she'll continue to be in the camp or not. If she qualifies, then she continues up to the Olympic, the Olympic Games. Now, for Sharon's case, of course, by the virtue that she qualified to be in the Olympics camp, that automatically puts her as the number 1 in her weight category, which is flyweight. However, during this selection, we had 2 flyweights who got into that position. So automatically that means that we have 3 people. There is Sharon, who is the favorite in that sport. So unless there's something else going on that will prevent her from representing the country, automatically she becomes the number 1 choice. Then the one who was selected during this the championship will become her number 2. And then, of course, there's the 3rd one who was number 2. This is just a standby case. But Sharon has the favorite spot for that. Yes.
All right, just to make it easier for the viewers, the flyweight in terms of kilos now, because that's how people would know.
Yes. Our flyweight for ladies in terms of kilos is under 59 kgs. Yes. 49, sorry. Under 49
Under
kgs.
49 kgs.
Yes, yes.
So that would mean that Cynthia Wekesa at the moment is 2nd.
Yes.
When it comes to that.
Yes.
All right. Let me come to Evelyn. Habari asubuhi.
Salama sana.
Uko mzima kabisa?
Nashukuru.
Safi. Now, tell us about, there were just 43 women basically taking part in that. But here you are as a middleweight already qualified and topped your division. Tell us, basically about your division and the competition that you have got for you in this country.
Okay, thank you very much. As you mentioned, I'm Evelyn Alwach. During the last trials, I managed to defend my weight category, that is minus 73 kgs women, middleweight. It's the weight I've been playing since I entered the national team back in 2019. And in the same category, unlike previously, I could say that this time round, the competition was a little bit there. It was visible in the games, because most of the times we find that you get yourselves 2 or just 1 in that category. So you have to be matched with the most immediate weight category. But for the first time, we were playing around 4 or 6 in a weight. For the ladies team, that was so marvelous. Then moving to outside the country, it's the weight I've also played. And I can say not once, but twice or thrice I've excelled in the weight. And in African arena, I've managed 3 bronze medals since 2019 to this far. So I just hope and believe that moving forward, within the weight, I'll still manage to bring in some good things. And the focus is, of course, Olympics 2024.
All right. Thank you, Evelyn. Now, let's come on to Elijah. 106 men in total, but here you are, having gone through, picking up, the top slots in your weight division. Just tell us about the competition that was there.
Thank you so much for having me. So grateful. The competition on Saturday in KU. It was a good one. It was a tough one. Very engaging. So many players, and. Just a clarification, there are more players than the ones that participated, but it was actually like the best of the best. Those who qualify to come and compete. There are certain qualifications that one must have to compete for the selection, national team selection. Like you have to be...
Take us through them, by the way.
Oh,
the entire list.
Yeah, just the basics only. You need, first of all, you need to be a black belt. Be able to hold you possess a dance certificate from the national team national team federation.
Dance certificate.
Dance certificate.
What a dance certificate is?
A dance certificate is a global ship black belt verification that you're actually a black belt or renowned all over the world. Yeah, it's a dance certificate. You certified that you're actually a black belt, and there are 9 from 1st dan to 9th dan. Yeah, and so it was black belts competing. It was not just 1 or 6 men that just the black belt. So it was a tough competition. So many people showed up, but I can say we were prepared. Give thanks to our committee, our federation, because they had informed us early, actually last year. They had informed us of the dates and the time. So people had even time during the holidays to prepare for the game. And as players, it's one of these are one funny game that we are opponents, but we are still very friends. So we were still communicating with your opponents and keeping
how to pound each other.
Just reminding them, una train. Yeah, you need me at a train. So if you go sleep and you'll actually risk being losing your position in the national team. So, and also the national team federation has kept it continuous. These selections, they are all each and every time, so that one mtu asifikiria ati I'm the champion in Kenya, so I'm just
like they say in football, hii number ni yangu.
Hii ni yangu. In Taekwondo there's no number, so if you sleep, make sure you're dreaming big. Yeah, because if you keep on sleeping and sleep, kuna mwingine atakuja kupite. Yeah, and you don't want that.
All right. Yeah. Now, let me come to you, Nesmas, because Elijah has mentioned something, and this is all about the classification. How when you start Taekwondo, you start obviously with the white belt and moving up What's the progression way, and how do you keep, checking these athletes such that you move from such that by the time you're a black belt, then that progression is known?
Okay. Taekwondo has a very systematic way of progression, where, as you have mentioned, you seem to be very versed in Taekwondo. You start with a white belt. You've done your research well. Good. And then, of course, from there we have got different belts in between there. You move on to yellow belt. Yellow belt has got levels in yellow belt. We call it 8th cube and 7th cube. However, that is the Korean system, but in Kenya we are more adapting the American system, because you find that when you're training, especially the athletes, they want to see that change in belt and color. So when you just give them, you just change in the certification, but they don't see the changes in the belt color, they don't feel like they have progressed. So the Americans came up with different colors. So the yellow belt, which has 2 levels, the Korean system, the American system is yellow and orange. And then from there, you go to blue belt. The Korean system has 4 levels, 3 levels in blue belt, 6th Q, 5th Q, and 4th Q. But the American system, we use green, purple, and blue to differentiate the belts.
Yes.
And then from there, you go to red belt. Red belt has got 2 levels. That is 3rd and 2nd. 3 levels: 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So there now we differentiate the Korean system. You'll have just the red belt, but the American system, we use the brown belt and the red belt, and then from there become a national black belt first. You have to be examined nationally. You get a national black belt, and then from there now you start your certification at the international level, certified by Kukiwon, which is our headquarters in charge of technical matters in the world. It is based in Seoul, Korea. So starting from there now, the international journey certificate, the dance now, the journey begins there. These are, again, there are 9 levels. So you start with 1st dan, 2nd dan, 3rd dan. When you are 3rd dan, you become an assistant master. An assistant master is an equivalent of having a master's degree, but an assistant. Then the 4th dan become a master. That is now a full degree in the conventional education system. But in Taekwondo, then is a 4th dan. Then you move to 5th dan, 6th dan. At 6th dan, that's doing a PhD in Taekwondo. So you have to do a thesis, submit it in Kukiwon, examined, pass the thesis for you to be able to grade. And you have to go physical to Kukiwon for that, for your certification for the 6th dan. Then of course 7th, 8th, and 9th dan. 9th dan is a very special belt that is given to people who have done exceptional service in Taekwondo. So in Kenya so far, the highest grade is 6th dan. The people with the highest level is 6th dan. That is Grandmaster Olayo, former national team coach. And those are the levels.
Now you've mentioned this about being examined, and we very well know this is a combat sport. It's a martial art. So what's this examination procedure?
Okay, the examination procedure consists of various aspects. One of them is kyogi, which is what is well versed with the public, the fighting part. But it's not only the fighting part. Actually, the fighting part starts being examined from blue belt. We have got something we call taiguks and pomses. These are forms which commonly karate, they call it kata. People are more versed with the kata. These are patterns that are for mental training, that you cram a certain pattern that you need to follow systematically. Now, this pattern is standard internationally. So for you to grade from one level to the other, you need to know certain number of patterns. For example, if you need to move to yellow belt, you need to know Taiguk 1. That is the first pattern. Progressively, until you reach black belt, you need to know all the patterns, which are 8 of them. And then the first international dance certificate, you need to know a pattern called choreo, pumze. Now that's the pumze start. Taiguks are for color belts, then pumzes are for black belts.
Black belts.
Yes, and then of course, apart from that, there's something we call honsul. Honsul, these are self-defense techniques. Each category has certain self-defense techniques you're supposed to know for you to be able to be graded to the next level. And then of course there's what we call now just the basic motions of chagis, jirigis, these are chagis are kicks, punches we call them jirugi, we call it syogis, these are stances. All these things, these are now just the basics that you need to know combined. So with every level, there are different kinds of basics that you are supposed to know. So basically that's the criteria. And of course there's the theory. There's the theoretical part that you need to know.
All right, now, the punches. Evelyn, I know you've come with these training pads. So Elijah.
Yes.
So not necessarily, you don't have to use stand, but you could just, just use that and give a little bit of a demonstration about the punches that TM has mentioned here. So Evelyn, so you're free to turn and do that.
Okay, so we do punching, and to score with a punch, we say the punch must be a straight punch that lands on the solar plexus here.
Right here.
Yes.
Which is why when you put on that the chest guard, it has a target.
Yes.
So ideally, that's where it should land.
Yeah. For it to score.
For it to score.
But if it could land here, that is counted as just a distraction. You're just distracting the opponent. But for you to get a score with the punch, let it land on the solar plexus. So it should be a punch not taken from too far, just to the shoulder level.
Okay.
And as you head towards the target, you put in force. So you got to remove it from here, then you come, and as you approach the target, we are supposed to see your hand kind of let it land with the two knuckles. So the arm should be straight. So you're gonna come and you just hit her. Then we want to hear that sound again. So you can accompany it with what we call kiap. In Taekwondo language, the sound from the voice. You make the corner judges feel you hit a punch. So you like, oh, you shout, then the sleeping corner judge will just give you a point. Yeah, because
okay, is that allowed? I mean, so that means if you know that you are loud enough, that's it.
Yes.
Yes. So, but you wouldn't expect a sleeping corner judge when you get to continental level.
Oh, they sleep. Then it's the continental.
It can be tiresome for them. Yeah.
They sleep.
So many competitions. Maybe distracted. Maybe drinking water. Or maybe doing something else. Or maybe checking out on another court. Maybe another game is going on and it's more fun and interesting. Then you shout. Yeah, you need to shout.
Well, that's very, very interesting because we know all about the noises that they make in martial arts, and it's only in boxing where they don't do that when it comes to the combat sport. Now, take us through. You've mentioned about landing this, but when you are when you're in a contest,
yes,
strapped feet, chests protected, and the headgear. Tell us about each of those equipment and how you go around that.
Okay. For the chest guard, we call it the hog. Yeah, it has right now we're using the electronic ones. So they have sensors. The sensor is put at the back. So when you hit, we wear socks, electronic socks that are international and equipped together and linked to the sensor. So when you kick or when you punch, the punch is not recorded because you don't have the sensors of the hand. But when you shout and punch and it's a straight.
And actually, you're not fighting bare knuckle. It's
you can fight bare knuckles. We are Africans. You can also wear the gloves. But for the Africans, we are strong. We can go bare knuckles. Doesn't depend. But
simulated gold is not a bus.
So when you punch, that's a straight punch. That's one mark to the trunk. and you're only allowed to punch on the this chest guard. Yeah, only the straight. And kicking, roundhouse kick, a straight roundhouse kick, a dorio chagi, that lands correctly on the chest guard. That's 2 points for each and every kick. Now, if it's a straight kick towards the head, the headgear also we have the sensor at the top. So if you kick a straight kick, that will be 3 marks. It will automatically record 3 marks. Now, if it's a turning kick, maybe back kick or spin kick, you turn.
Kick, come, walk a Texas Ranger.
Yes, yeah, like Shaolin monks and zunguka hizo zote kung fu, yeah, everything. Right? If you kick straight to the trunk, yeah, that's 4 marks. Okay, you get automatically 2 marks. The chest it will record 2 marks, and then the referee will have to stop and then add you 2 more points. So if it's a turning kick straight to the head, that's 5 marks. So because it's 3, and then you added 2. Yeah, that's how we score. And if you fall, maybe if you fall, the opponent gets 1 point.
1 point.
Yeah, that's how the scoring goes.
Well, so there we go. And rounds. Evelyn, sasa tuambie kula mtu KO, how to get that. You know, so that, you know, this is a martial art. A contest can be called, not, you know, even before that round is done.
Yes. Yeah, actually, you can win a match by having KO. That is knockout. You can knock out an opponent technically. Maybe you've
and the term for it now in Taekwondo.
We say KO.
It's just KO. It's just a knockout, technical knockout. Yeah.
So the knockouts, you could get a knockout even through a punch that is taken at a well angle, landing onto the right point, and you get a weak opponent. Maybe the opponent has been working on their weights, managing weight, kidogo amechoka choka. You hit a strong point, somebody can get out of gas and anaanguka. You could get a knockout by a straight kick onto the face. The back leg is always very strong, so when you come with all your force and you just strike on the face directly, an opponent can just get
dizzy.
Unaona tu giza. And most of the turning kicks also lead to knockouts, especially the spin kick. Taken from a right angle, it can just send you off the ring.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we'll be taking a little break, and when we come back, it's preparations for the World Championships in Azerbaijan and the African Games. The World Championships are in May, and the African Games are in August. They're going to be hosted by Ghana. That's the plan. And also, the kind of support that they will be getting from the Kenya National Sports Council, who are in charge of the African Games. We take a short break, and we come back with a conversation around Taekwondo.
Listen up. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Engine.
How do we hear? How do we see? What makes up the air we breathe?
Let's go! Let's go!
It's technology.
Let's go! Let's grow!
Science, you and me.
Let's go!
We're learning every day.
Let's ask, let's learn, and let's love.
And don't forget to make it fun.
This is how we would meet again. Are you taking care of me? It turns out you're hurting me.
She's getting prettier and prettier. Anybody seeing the two of you will know immediately you're related. Join us.
Isn't this supposed to be a meal to celebrate my new job?
Why would you start eating without me? He's such a weirdo. Am I his guinea pig?
What do you want? I really need to speak with you. I have a question for you. Currently, I'm merely your subordinate. But can we be friends?
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
We are officially conducting an inquest into the undercover operation dubbed Hidden Leaf. Tukisuspect wewe ama Sergeant Omwami cause failure to this mission, there will be repercussions.
Tumepata changamoto kwa mipango yetu lakini jitku ukusojira.
Kurumu imane
mardo na kuhakikisha.
Mardo maakawada.
Hii mission ni classified. Hakuna mtu atajua. Only mimi na DIG.
If they need him alive, then we need him dead.
Jamaa, wamekuwa nani ndo waze kutupatia hizo order?
Kama maiti itatulipa. Kujiona maiti kifufuka. Ujaicheki?
I know you're worried about him. Boys and their dads. Did I say something wrong?
Well, tell me how you really feel.
You know what matters? Ni ati umerudi kazi. Na kama kuna mtu anaweza kulainisha hii kampuni ni wewe.
Ambia mama hivyo.
You knew kweli. She would do a perfect job. Kisima Drops will have to go on, even without our dear Melissa. So, please join me in welcoming our latest addition to the company, my daughter Zawadi.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 23rd day of January, 2023. Having a sports conversation this morning, and we are with members of the national Taekwondo team. We've got the team manager, Nesmas Wesonga. He is to my far left, and the lady here in the middle is Evelyn Alwoch. She is actually a welterweight Taekwondoin. That's a term that you use when referring to these athletes. And we've got Elijah Kimani, who's a welterweight Taekwondoin, and they all won their various divisions at the national trials, which were held at the Kenyatta University main campus on Saturday. And a conversation, they've taken us through it, and the kind of punches, and also this, by the way, very interesting, something I've been told about this. There is no difference between this part, maybe Elijah could help me with this, and this other one. But this one that is split, I've been told it makes training a little bit more exciting. Now, just hold it, and so that you could tell us why the split.
The split makes it more fun. It produces more sound. So when you
compared to this,
it will be just a tap. But for this, it will be double. It's a flap. So the sound is like just the ones we hear in movies. Yeah, it makes it more interesting and gives you more psych, more power to continue.
I think only martial arts movies have got their own original sound. Because it does, at times it doesn't go with what's happening. But let me just now come down to, the competitions and the support that you're having. In May, it's a World Championships in Azerbaijan. What's the qualification criteria for the World? Because we've seen, for example, at the Olympics, it's allocation slots. For example, I'll use karate, which was there. It was because they were in Japan, so they allowed karate, but they only allowed 80 karatekas in total. What's the criteria here for Taekwondo?
Thank you. Now, when it comes to the World Championships in Taekwondo, we do not have a cutoff system like the Olympics. Even the Olympics, we have a cutoff system. I'll explain shortly. In Taekwondo, basically what you need is the players must be black belts with the international certification. They must hold a GAL, that is a Global Athletic License. That is a system run by the World Taekwondo Federation called GSM system, that you have to be registered in that system to participate. And also all the officials must have a GOL, that is Global Officials License. And of course, now you make an appearance with the relevant fees. And that is it. And the weight category, you have to be in your specific weight category. That is how we go about it in the World Championship.
Okay, becoming a global athlete license, that means you're already in their system. And what about being an official? How do you then get that license?
Of course, there is a registration fee that is required to be paid. Right now, we are being charged 5,000 shillings, Kenyan money. And then officials...
$50?
Yes, $50. And then officials have got different categories of officials. We have got referees. So you need certification to qualify you to be an international referee by having gone through the seminars. You have got coaches. There are coaching seminars you need to have. For example, in coaching, you need to have level 3. There's level 3, level 2, and level 1 certification certified by the World Taekwondo Federation. You need to have that. And then there are technical officials for different capacities during tournaments. You need to have qualified and have the certification. Doctors, you need to have a doctor's certificate for you to be able to appear at the World Championship. And then, of course, there are now what we call MNAs, Member National Association. That is, you are certified by your country. You are representing the country in a certain capacity. Maybe, for example, now as a team manager, or president of the federation, or secretary general, or a representative of the government. All those fall under officials. Yes.
All right. Now let me come to you, Evelyn. Preparing for the World Championships. Ideally everyone would like to go to the African Championship, then the global stage. But this time around it's been flipped. Simply tell us your training plan for this.
Okay, thank you. I would admit that the global arena is not an easy one because everybody's training and everybody's dream is to get nothing but the best. So as a Kenyan athlete, it would be my first time actually getting to the global arena. Last the World Championship, but because of 1-2, the team was not able to attend. But we are hoping...
Main one is money, That is the count of 1-2.
But we are praying and hoping that this time round funds be available, that the team goes. But before then, we are actually training. And even as I live here, I'm heading to training. We are working on our weak points, and we're just trying to make everything in order, that even when we get there, we don't go to tour, but come back with something. Yes.
Now, everyone, they won the medals. The African Games in August. And I'm sure with the competition, regional and outside there. Elijah, just tell us, how you want to build up to this, because May will be a big eye-opener for the national team, but then after that you'll have 3 months before the African Games.
In the mtaani tunasema mapema ndio best. So actually we would like to thank the national team federation, the federation, because they have started early. We started January. I think we are the only team. I think we have selected the national team already. It's there. It's been booked for the All African Games. Something that will happen in that is happening in August. We have started in January. I have big dreams. I want to dream big. Right now, I'm even looking at Paris 2024. I really want to be among the first male Kenyans to bring back a medal to
in
Kenya,
martial arts.
In martial arts through Taekwondo. So for preparations for the August Games, we have started early. We're kicking in for the camping. We're in the next 2 weeks, but before that we have been training. We are training. May will be a good platform to gauge ourselves. Like Evelyn has said, that it's actually a big platform. It will be first time for most of us to stand on that big arena. So we are expecting positive results. We've been encouraged. We're having even people coming to talk to us, because we need also to be prepared mentally and psychologically. We are also working on our weak points, but more so and mostly we're working on our strongholds, which is power. Africans, we are known for our own power. So nguvu tutaweka. So we will try, give it our best. And if we'll with pole progress, and we'll see good results.
Kano na ugali maarifa pia muhimu. Sio nguvu tu. Sawa. All right, so TM, I'll let you have the final word.
Yes.
Before we move on to the next conversation, the outlook for Taekwondo in Kenya. 150 athletes on Saturday. I mean, that was huge.
Yeah.
But what are the chances? Because it is simply known that most of the combat sports, they're domiciled within the disciplined forces, KDF, prisons, police. How do you get them now to normal dojos?
Beautiful. First and foremost, I wish to point out that the trajectory has changed. If you look at most of the national team players who have been selected are actually civilians, not from the disciplined forces. I don't know, I don't want to say that the disciplined forces have been sleeping. I want to say that the civilians have improved. Yes, so the trajectory has changed. Now, going forward, we have lessons learned over the past years. And one of the lessons that we have learned was lack of exposures for our players. So you find that by the time we go to the international stage, they get stage fright. So on that line, we have got quite a number of activities that have been lined up for the year. In February, on 4th to 7th, we are lined up to go to Istanbul for the President's Cup, Istanbul, Turkey. On 24th, 26th, the team needs to be in Canada for the Canadian Open's Vancouver. Then we have the World Open qualification for Grand Prix that is going to be in March. This will be held in Wizhou, China. And then we have another world ranking event. This is going to be Bulgarian Open. That is going to be in Sofia, Bulgaria. Then on 4th to 5th of February, March, we have the US Open to be held in Las Vegas. We have, of course, the African Central Zone Championship that is also in March in Malibu, Equatorial Guinea. Then Austria Open to be held in Innsbruck. That is in April. Then that is enough build-up for the World Championship, okay, which now is going to be in Baku, Thailand. Then from there we come back, lessons learned from there. We come back, we prepare for the Grand Prix. Grand Prix. Yes, in Roma, Italy. And then from there, we have the second World Para Presidents. This is for para. We also have the physically challenged championships. So we have the Para Games that we also participate in Polynesia. This is in French Polynesia. And then, of course, we have the African Championship now coming up and in October in Ghana. Then from there, we move on to Senegal for the Senegal Open. We move to Manchester for the World Grand Prix. And November, for our children, we have the World Children Championships that is in the United Kingdom. And we have the World Women Championship, Women Empowerment in Taekwondo, big time. Venue will be confirmed. And finally, we end up in Wuzhou World Grand Prix finals, because Grand Prix is a series.
Yes.
So the finals will be in China again, Wuzhou. And of course, we have not forgotten the universities. So we have East African University Games December 7th to 22nd, and World Team Championship again in China. So that is a host of tournaments that will help these players. And of course the others...
I was counting the number of stamps I would get on my passport if I was in that team.
Yes. And on that note, I really want to thank the Ministry of Sports. Every time we sit on these forums, we just keep on complaining, the government. I'm here to thank the government. Since 2019, we have serious support from the sports fund through the former minister, the CS Amina Mohammed, and I believe the current CS will continue the trajectory. We had a very wonderful session with him to come up with a blueprint for the next 5 years for sports. So we are good to go. Early preparation is the key. The only thing that I think I really need to point out, this does not affect Taekwondo only. It affects all the sports across the country. As we are talking today, the US Olympic team for 2028 is in camp. Training for 2028.
He said it, mapema ndio best.
Yes, 2028. Funding, everything. In Kenya, our weak link now is lack of funding for training. These athletes are training, they have no income, there's nothing to support them. Natoka hapa naenda mjengo to survive. That is where our weak link is. And from where I sit, I believe that as a government, we need to come up with a system where national team players are employees of the government on a payroll, so that we don't have these small issues.
That one, we can have a conversation about that. But I'll tell you, make Kenya stop for a Grand Prix, and they will be on your payroll as the federation.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Ms. Maswesonga, team manager, Taekwondo Kenya, Evelyn Alwoch. She's a middleweight Taekwondo in, and we've got the welterweight, Elijah Kemani. Thank you very much, lady and gentlemen. Well, and you know, they mentioned about the number of stamps they're going to get on their passports. But Kenya is the #1 stop for the ladies' European tour. This is the European tour. It's golf, professional women. And we've got 4 Kenyan women who are going to be down at Vipingo in a fortnight. Let's get into that conversation with Kenya Golf Union Vice Chair, Philip Ochola, and a man you know better for his exploits in rally cars, Alastair Kavanagh, but this time round, moving at snail's pace on a golf course in Vipingo. He's the chairman of Vipingo Ridge, so he's going to be joining us in a short while. And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It's the 23rd of January, 2023. Back to school for most of the learners across the country. So those are some of the stories that we are taking a look at, and also a lot of meetings happening all over the country. We continue with our conversation around sport, and this is a big one. For another time, Vipingo Ridge is going to be hosting the Ladies European Tour. This is a golf championship for professional golfers, and it's the opening round of the 2023 season. And to speak about that in studio, you all know him as a rally driver, Alistair Kavanagh, on my far left. Welcome, Alistair.
Thank you.
No one can believe you stopped driving sideways too.
I know. I've had to slow down, and if the viewers could see my foot, you'd see it was in a cast, so I'm really slow at the moment. I've managed to break my foot just before the event, which isn't perfect, but yeah, sadly rallying is over for me now.
I hope you don't speed around on golf carts.
Occasionally.
The Vice Chairman, Kenya Golf Union, Lupocholas, welcome.
Thank you, Home.
And the person who's behind the event and promoting it, Doug Laytonberg of UCOM.
Pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
To be here.
Yes, great. You know, the previous times we've had, to do this via Zoom, but this time round, Alistair, let me start with the Vipingo and, how you are getting that course ready for the magical Kenya Ladies Open.
Well, it's been a challenge, actually, particularly the last 2 years. We've had the worst 2 years of rainfall in the last 70. The year before last being the worst on record. So getting enough water onto the course has been a challenge. We do harvest all the water that we can at Vipingo, so the greens and the tee boxes are in great shape. The course is a little bit drier than we'd like it, but yeah, we have to just be cognizant of the environmental issues that we're facing at the moment.
And, also interesting, you work with another motorsport guy, Salim Haji.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's how the whole project started. It's a long story. I won't bore you with that now, but Salim and I sort of conceived the project back in 2004. And yeah, so Salim's still our golf pro there. He's still one of the directors of Vipingo Ridge, and obviously very much involved in the running and organising of this forthcoming event.
All right. Now, Vice Chairman, let me just talk about this. When the announcement was made, I think November 2019, that's when we had the first event. What was it for the golfing family in Kenya? Because we've had the magical Kenya Open, moved on to European Tour from a Challenge Tour event. But what about this one? How big was it?
Our home words cannot really explain what it is. It's the third year round. The tournament is growing year in, year out. And we are happy that this tournament has included Kenyan lady golfers who are going to participate. You're aware that Chanel Wangari, the junior golfer, is participating in this. We have Marcy Nyanchama, we have Nancy Wairimu, and we also have our top lady golfer, Ana Wafulla. And just as we were walking in here, we just got another slot from the European Tour organizers, and Akoth Jackie, who also resides in Vipingo, will get an opportunity to participate in this.
Well, great moments for that. And for you, Doc, coming to promote these events, let's go back to the first event that came, towards the end of the calendar. What was the experience for you?
Look, I mean, Elle and I, we go back a long time. We know each other, and I've been in Kenya for many, many years. It's kind of my second home. And when I saw the golf course that they put up, it was always our wish to bring a professional tournament to Kenya. And obviously, we are involved in men's golf, but we are very involved in women's golf. So we do television production all over the world for the Women's Golf Tour. We promote a tournament in Germany as well. And we always try to bring a tournament here. It took us a while. 2019 we managed for the first time, and now we're going to the third year. Obviously, we had a 2-year break because of COVID, but we're very excited. It's growing. I mean, it's growing, and the enthusiasm is huge. You can see it already, how many people are asking to come to be with us in Vipingo. And Kenya has such a long tradition for men's golf. As you said, Challenge Tour, and then now DP World Tour, and I truly believe that we can create something similar. Women's golf is growing. We are looking at opening the season in Kenya for the second time. We closed it in 2019 in Kenya. Now we're opening the season in Kenya, and it's very exciting. It took us a lot of work, but we have a beautiful golf course. We have an amazing federation to work with. And we want to grow this, and so we're very excited to have Kenyan players in the field, obviously. And our goal as as a joint goal between UCOM, my company, and Bapinga Ridge and the federation, and the work with Philip, is to bring Kenyan players to the Ladies European Tour, and that's our goal.
Alastair, let me come to you. Preparing this course, number one, and also playing at Vipingo, there's the ocean, there's the breeze, there's all that. Looking at the leaderboards, you know, from day by day last year, it was playing tough. What's the whole setup of that course?
It is a challenging course, and I'm not a good enough golfer really to answer that question properly. Philip would be better placed to do that, but for me it's an extremely challenging course, and I think the players found it that way as well. In fact, we even had to shorten bring some of the tee boxes forward last year, I recall. It is, depending on the time of year and the wind direction, it can be particularly tough. But I think the players will enjoy it. We've got the added advantage of, or attraction of wildlife on the course now. I don't know if you saw the pictures of the girls with the giraffe, and those went viral around the world. No, it's a stunning course, and I think the players really enjoy coming out here to Kenya. We obviously need to try and raise the prize money a little bit as we go forward, because we've gone from being one of the sort of middle tier events to now sort of dropping down a bit with the money that's being pumped into golf globally, particularly by Saudi Arabia. So yeah, we hope, as Dirk was saying, to raise the profile of the event in future years.
And also, you are the course is PGA rated, the build course.
Yeah.
So the process of getting that certification from the USPGA.
Well, it's UK PGA, but it's all about how the course is built, maintained, but mainly the build and the maintenance is what leads to that accreditation. And the PGA send out officials once a year to just make sure that you're adhering to their standards. We also opened up an academy, a sort of state-of-the-art academy earlier last year, which is unique in the region, and I think probably one of the only ones in Africa to have that sort of equipment. So, yeah. The affiliation with the PGA is a very important thing for us.
And Doc, he mentioned something about the prize money. 300,000 euros is a total prize package. How does the LET now work around this to ensure that it's sustainable?
Well, look, I mean, the LET is growing. Obviously, the prize fund is growing as well. We have the 23 season will see the most tournaments, the most hours of television, but also the highest prize fund. So we are obviously trying to close the gap between men's and women's golf. You see the prize money in the Kenya Open will be 2 million, as you know, which is now the minimum prize money on the men's tour. We are now with 300,000 euros at the minimum. It used to be 200,000. Now it has been raised to 300. So obviously our goal is jointly, with everybody on board and the sponsors and everyone who can help to raise the prize fund for Kenya. So that's, the first of all, we could arguably say to close the gap between the men and the women, but that's not only about that. It's to just create an attractive calendar for the professional athletes on the women's side.
Now, Philip, let me come to this, and it's all about fundraising. We've seen the efforts put for the magical Kenya Open, for the DP World Tour. Now tell us about the fundraising for the women's event.
It started on a low note in 2019, but after that the government took ownership of this particular event. In fact, our biggest supporter and money is coming from the government. The corporates, on the other hand, are now plugging in to match what the government is doing so that we can have a higher fund for the prize money, and that increases the quality of players also who come for this event.
Now, already I know I was privy to something. You already met with someone and the support that you received. You could just mention some of those corporates outside of the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund, which is the primary sponsor of the event.
The fact that you're privy to that information makes me now mention of here. Dak and Alistair are going to meet Safaricom to receive the support that they're going to plug into the event. Last year they were also there. And remember, there's also live communication that is required.
Yes.
And without Safaricom, I don't think life would be easy for Dak and the screening of the event throughout.
All right. Doug, let me just come to you because we want to touch on this. The field, talk about 96, the criteria for setting this up. You could take us through that.
Well, look, I mean, obviously, every qualifying criteria, if you look on the Ladies European Tour page or through the app, you see the different criteria of qualification. So it's world ranking, it's Solheim Cup, but it pretty much relates to the last year's final ranking. So the best players of the best 100 players are potentially qualified of the Ladies European Tour ranking, and then you can go down. Some of them will not participate. They are traveling. They're still having a break. But we have a very, very strong player field. We have, I would say, out of the last year's ranking, we have 7 or 8 of the top 20, which is a very, very good result. Obviously, with Esther Henseleit, you know, the defending champion, coming back. We're very happy that she's coming back, but we have Aditya Shok from India, we have Sanna Nutinen from Finland, you know, we have Manon de Rey from Belgium. We have really, really strong players. And as Alistair said, it's a challenging golf course, specifically when it's dry. So the ball doesn't always bounce the way you want it to. So you have to be very accurate. And that's why, you know, it's a tough job, but the top players will go through, and I really hope that you know, we see 1 or 2 Kenyan players making the cut on Friday.
Okay, now let me talk about, you know, golf and the agronomy. For example, for the DP World Tour, I think when it moved to Muthaiga last year, the members got a little bit of a shock because there is a standard that is required by the from the two organizers. How much work do you have to do? What slight changes do you have to do that any person who plays at Vipingo would find different?
Well, it's a year-long sort of process, and what we did during COVID was actually change our greens. So we put a better, faster grass in that can be cut to a shorter, much shorter level, and gives a faster stint speed. The LET send out their agronomist once or twice a year prior to the event to check that things are being managed on the course as they would like to see them. As I said, we have had problems and challenges with the amount of waterfall or rainfall that we've had over the last 2 years. So the course is looking a bit drier than we would like it, but you know, hopefully in years to come that will not be the case, and we'll be able to present the course in a much sort of greener, softer condition. But we can only put as much water on as we have available, and we've got to be very conscious of that.
All right. So far, by the standards, I mean by what's expected of Dark and his team, you're happy with the current conditions?
We are. As I said, it'd be nice if it was a little bit greener, but you know, our team at Vipingo have done a fantastic job. Salim's in charge of that. We've got a very competent greenkeeper, Kennedy, and the 2 years that we've hosted the event thus far, the organisers, the LET, have been very happy with the presentation of the course. So.
Now, let me come to you, Vice Chairman, because we saw something that's happening, that the Kenya Golf Union, the Kenya Ladies Golf Union working together, such that the quality of lady golfers that we have in the country is great. It's been agreed that some of these women can actually play in the KAGC, and we've also seen them play in the Safari Tour. How was this arrangement arrived at?
The world is moving, the Royal and Ancient is moving golf to a unified setup, so whereby the ladies and the men compete in the same tournament. Including one of the tours, we had ladies and men playing in the same event.
Yes.
So for us, we always...
Actually, the Royal and Ancient is, in simple terms,
the governing body of golf.
The governing body across the world for golf is RNA, the Royal and Ancient.
Yes. So over the last weekend, we gave this a try. And we had 8 ladies participating in this, and obviously we had the 4.
This is at the Sigona Bowl.
At the Sigona Bowl, where we had 4 of the team that will participate in the Ladies European Tour, participating in it. And this will go forward for the rest of the year, as we make sure that all the ladies are excited to be part of the high level of golf that the men are playing. And as you're aware that the government is insisting now on the Kenya Academy of Sports, where the elite players are developed to be the best in whichever sport they are in. And we want to take advantage of that.
And there's the inclusion of junior golfers. Chanel is, I think, 16. And the story is she's been around the sport, I think, since she was 7 or 8 and playing at the highest level. What's being done, you know, to bring them to blood these young lady golfers through the junior ranks with JGF, because we've also seen a lot of that happening, especially with the US kids golf.
Thanks for mentioning that. That's now the current front of golf in Kenya, but also across the world. And even all those who are participating in this event are coming from the junior golf ranks, right? And as a federation, as a union, we've taken this very seriously. We had to look at what program can move us from the normal day-to-day running of golf. And 2 years ago, we ended up with US Kids Golf as a program that can take us to the next level. As I said earlier on, that ship has sailed. There's no bolting back. That is the same program that we are using. We are working with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development to now develop a curriculum that now will go to schools. Why? This is a sport that can be played on a football pitch. There is a drawing. You can do 9 holes on a football pitch. And with the current narrative of the government, we have to start where the lowest is.
Yes.
So long as there's a football pitch, that's a golf course. So at the time that we are going to release the Kenya curriculum of golf, that's where we will start.
Very interesting, because I know there is one famous golf course. It's known as St. Andrews. It's known as, that's a very golf course. At times you find people playing, football at that point, and also, but there are the friends there. So that's possible because we've seen it before. And
for your information on that, the winner of the Sigona Bowl is the captain of St. Andrews, Nduberi. Yes.
Yeah, great stuff. Yes, and you can see St. Andrews all doing that. Alistair, you mentioned about the academy out there.
Yeah.
And
well, I was just going to add on to what Philip was saying there. We have this very high-tech PGA academy. It's underutilized at the moment because we're a little bit quiet at Vipingo compared to Nairobi, and we've said to the Junior Golf Federation as well as the KGF, we are fully supportive and will throw our weight behind trying to develop these young golfers and make the academy available to them as well as the course throughout the year, so that we can really try and get players coming through, making the cut, and eventually, as Dirk said, getting somebody or a couple of the players onto the tour permanently. That's our ambition over the next couple of years.
Well, we'll need to see that. And Dirk, we start here, but we're seeing a lot of more events coming to the African continent. So you could basically give us, a brief of the 2023 season. 32 events, basically. That's one every 1.5 weeks, so to speak.
It's interesting because we are actually creating together with the Ladies European Tour, an African swing, which means that from when we start in Kenya, from here the players go to Morocco, then from Morocco they go via Saudi back to South Africa. So and for next year it looks like we might add a couple of more tournaments. So we have a clear request from Rwanda. There's a couple of new golf courses coming up. Obviously it's growing, and South Africa has always been quite dominant in golf, but now Kenya has an event, Morocco has an event, Egypt are looking into an event, Rwanda are looking into an event. So we really, together with the RNA actually, we have spoken to the head of development of the RNA, who seems to be very open towards Africa. They really want to develop Africa, and that's why we are, as UCOM, we are pushing into that direction, and that's why if you talk about the season, so we have last year already invited Naomi Wafulla to come and play in our tournament in Germany, and she only missed the cut by 2 shots. Ever since, she has improved amazingly. So we have created already a calendar for Naomi to be the first Kenyan player to play abroad for this coming summer. So she's going to play in our event, but we have already arranged more starts for her and hopefully also for the other players that come from the Kenyan squad.
Well, good revelation coming in from Naomi. Which event should we be looking at? Because we know, for example, for the male the male golf pros, we know they've done a lot in South Africa. Some are playing in the sun. We've seen them play in the Sunshine Tour. Others get invited to some events in the West African Tour. What's her calendar like?
So we have 3 starts for Naomi on the Ladies European Tour. So it's going to be here in Kenya, then it's going to be in Berlin in Germany, which is also a UCOM tournament, and when we either have a stop for her in Finland or in Holland, maybe both. Together with that, there is the Access Tour, which is pretty much the challenge tour, the equivalent of the challenge tour by the men, and we are going to guarantee her 3 or 4 starts in other tournaments, so that once she travels to Europe, she will be with us. We will support her when she's in Europe, and then she will be trying to create a nice calendar for her throughout the summer. So once the rainy season hits here, May, she will come over, and then we hopefully will have Naomi with us for at least 2 or 3 months. So we'll be in touch, and we, because we have television pictures from her as well, we'll be able to send some to you. We'll also have interviews for the Kenyan television. So I think this is only the start, and we will carry it further forward.
Well, there's always space for any excelling sports person on KBC Channel 1. Alistair can tell you the tales from his motorsport days and now in golf. And taking a look at that, we know with the kind of opportunities that have come for Naomi, out there for the federation, what pathways is it creating such that there's more competition, more tournaments, and we get the excellent golfers?
We are no longer thinking within ourselves. We've gone out of the box. For junior events, we already have 30 that are lined up for this year. For the Kenya Amateur Golf Championship, we have 26. Right? The ladies also have a calendar that has been released.
Yes.
So it's back to back for any athlete that is out there to play golf. In terms of the national teams, we've already engaged John Leafland, the national coach, who's now putting up a program. Not only will it be for men, but also for the ladies. We want to appreciate what work it's being done at the academy with Salim. And instead of charging what he should get commercially, he's actually done a lot of it for free. The participants are going to Vipingo on the 24th, and they'll all be under the hands of Salim Haji to prepare them for the event that starts on the 2nd.
And Alistair, when somebody comes, Kenyans, when it comes to sports, they'll not just come there and, watch the golf and walk. They have to make some noise. What's there for, to catch everyone at Vipingo and as the giraffes on the course?
Well, it's anyone who's been there, I think, will know it's really quite a unique destination, Vipingo. We've obviously got the beach, we've got a beach club, we've got quite a lot of other activities available on site, but it's just from a golfing perspective, I think, and Dirk will bear me out here, we've probably got one of the nicest sort of VIP lounge areas where you look down on the 9th and the 18th greens. Following the players round is a really unique experience in itself. And we just hope, obviously last year we were still under COVID protocols, so we couldn't encourage spectators sort of too overtly. However, this year we really would encourage as many people to come down and watch the event and participate and just join in the fun as possible.
And something is that if I come, I'll pay 500 shillings per day. That would be the ticket price.
I think for students, we're going to do 50 bob a day.
50?
You just produce your student card and that's it. So it'll be...
And a collaboration, about the membership. If I go there with my member's card, what happens?
Again, Dirk can answer this. I think it's free for members.
Yes, it's free. It's free for all members of the clubs in the country. So whenever you have a membership card, we want to entertain also all juniors. So we are working with the junior teams from the coastal clubs, but also Philip is liaising with all the clubs up country. So we really want to bring as many spectators, but also juniors. So all the juniors that are active in golf within Kenya, the entrance is free of charge, and everybody who is a member of a club in Kenya is also is free of charge. We have obviously another big partner, which is IEBC, and they're setting up a tent. There's going to be entertainment. There's going to be DJs. So if you don't want to watch golf, you're still not going to be bored. There's going to be a lot of things to be done. But we saw already increasing numbers last year, and it looked quite busy on the Sunday. So we really hope that also people from the universities in Kilifi and in Mombasa that will come. So we're doing a promotion there. So it's not, you don't need to be a golfer to enjoy golf.
Okay. Now, building up on this events that we've got at the highest level, we've got the Magical Kenya Open, the Magical Kenya Ladies Open. What's out there? What are the opportunities coming through for Kenya as a golf destination?
Remember the word magical. The Ministry of Tourism is using this sport to market Kenya.
Yes.
This event will be covered to 130 countries. What will they showcase? What's at Vipingo? Remember, Vipingo now has animals.
Yes.
They won't be put in the dock when the players are playing. And those are unique features that we have in Kenya. A number of captions have been taken of what happens in Kenya. So the tourism perspective is very important, and that's the ROI that the government gets by sponsoring this event. Same by sponsoring the magical Kenya Open, that's the equivalent. But remember, when these players come to a country, they come with their managers, they come with their coaches, they come with their family. The multiplying effect is ×5. You have 98 players participating, multiply that by 5, think of the currency that gets into their country. The same with Magical Kenya Open. And that's one of the reasons why the Cabinet Secretary of Sports mentioned that as much as we are developing talent, let's take each sport as a business. Right? And when that money comes into Kenya, it remains there. It builds our people. He may tell you how many people will be involved in running the event. They're all local people.
About how many people are listed?
Well, they're not all local, Phil. Some of the team, we're probably about 150 all in terms of running the event, which is big. And just to add on to what your question, I think we need to, as a country, start marketing golf tourism and golf safaris, and it's something I think we've been a bit remiss on recently. And I think there's a huge market out there that just doesn't know that Kenya has leading golf courses. And we combine that with the safari, and you've got the full package.
Well, quite interesting, because I know in Kenya is a country where you can play golf at sea level and also at 3,000 meters above sea level.
Correct.
It's quite interesting. Yeah, that's Nyahururu for you. Bingo. So you can imagine the contrast in playing at all those different places. And Doc, what's been the impact for you, a person who puts this out, promotes the event, putting it out on television? What's been the story from the golfers on the tour and the people who watch golf?
I must say, it's always been my personal relationship. I mean, my first time in Kenya was 1981, and my father was already here in 1972, teaching Kenyans how to fly glider planes in Nakuru. So I have a lot of history in Kenya. But when we mentioned Kenya to the Ladies European Tour, they didn't really think that, apart from the courses in Nairobi, that there was another course. So we pushed, and I kept saying, you have to come to Kenya to experience Kenya. And all the players that came, they all left with a big smile, and they're all coming back. And they're bringing, you see, from 2019 to now, they're all bringing friends and family. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because all the planes to Mombasa will be full next week. All of them. We have pretty much filled all accommodation and around us and also on the coast. So I think the impact is, it's just growing. And the difference between the ladies and the men, the social media aspect of the ladies is ×10. So, we are bringing some international influencers. We have the best influencers of Kenya teaming up with some international influencers, golf influencers, travel influencers. So we're carrying the word out there. And that's I think, the key factor is, to bring the people in touch with Kenyans. I think Kenya is a beautiful country, but it's very beautiful because of its people. And that's for them the key, because everybody will say the same from the player perspective.
All right. Alistair, he says all hotels are booked, so if anyone wants to come to Vipingo around that time,
it's a struggle. It's a struggle. There are a few things, but unfortunately Vipingo Ridge was full before Christmas, with the players, the organisers, the caddies, key sponsors, etc. But there is accommodation around us, but it's filling up rapidly. So I'd encourage anyone coming down to look into it quickly before they end up having to stay in Mombasa and travel up.
All right. For the union, activities around this, minus the tournament itself, what is it that you want to reach out to the public? Outside of those who are already within the golfing family.
Going back to what I said, it's all about junior golf. These ladies are our ambassadors for now. How did they start? They started through junior golf. Junior golf, you can be a member. There's a card that you're given. We only need your passport and your birth certificate or passport, yeah? Then you get a card, right? Yes. It allows you to go to each and every golf course within this country. That is where we will go in and develop golf in this country. So out of that, we want to continue partnering with the Ministry of Tourism and of course our main line, which is Ministry of Sports.
Doc, a word out to the people out there and how to keep up with this tour. Especially now for Naomi, because I think she's got, what, 7-8 events already.
Well, look, I mean, I can only say that whoever comes and watches the tournament either on television or live, you know, they will get a very good impression of what it is all about, and especially when it comes down to Sunday, we expect the final putt to go in unless we have a playoff at around 4:30, 5 o'clock local time. But you know, it's we will see not only we don't see the magical Kenya Ladies Open as one umbrella event in 1 week a year. We want to communicate and play women's golf for and from Kenya throughout the year, and that we can only achieve if you know we hear from Kenyan players playing abroad, like you do with all your other sports, where you go abroad and challenge the international competition. And this is what our aim is. This is one of the key elements that we're trying to seed. We have seeded it together with the Federation and Vipingo Ridge, and obviously without the Ministry of Sport it wouldn't be possible. So we are on a good track.
Oh, by the way, making cut for day 3 and 4. What's the cut? About how many would you be looking at?
Well, we halve the field, so you can't say you cut it directly in half because it depends on the scores.
Yes.
But we would imagine that 55 to 60 players will go into the weekend.
Aha. Well, Alistair, you're the hosts. Make that call now as we wind up.
Well, as I said, I would just like to encourage everyone to come down, enjoy the weekend. It really is a lot of fun. As I think Dirk has said, if you're not a golfer, there's plenty of things to do. There's a fantastic village set up with EABL and having their main tent there. And it's just a really good, fun weekend out. We've got direct flights into Vipingo. So, yeah, please get onto your travel agent and book up.
Okay, we shall make sure we do that, and remember, we shall be keeping up with the 5 Kenyan ladies who will be at the magical Kenya Ladies Open, taking place at Vipingo Ridge from the 2nd to the 5th of February, with the Pro-Am on the 1st of February. So it's going to be a huge sporting weekend down at the coast for Kenyan golf. Thank you very much, Alistair Kavanagh. You know him as a rally driver. Well, right now he is driving golf carts, and he's the chairman of Vipingo Ridge. Philip Ochola, vice chairman, Kenya Golf Union, and the promoter of the event, Doc Glettenberg. I hope I got that right.
You got it right, perfect.
From UCOM. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
In a couple of weeks, let's find out if that title is going to stay. By the way, what's the trophy this year? Which animal are you using?
It's the same. We've got a revolving trophy, which is a fantastic bronze of a giraffe. The event emblem is a giraffe. And that we've got some miniatures as well that the winners will take home with them. But the main one stays with us at Vipingo.
So, Esther Henselett, can she retain that title? And let's see how well that course plays. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been a morning sports check. We've spoken Taekwondo, we've spoken golf. It's now time for me to leave. And coming up next is Tamrini, and it's going to be preceded by Kurunzi Mashinani. Have a good afternoon. My name is Daniel Wahome.